Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
I testified 8 months pregnant in federal court in one case. So that was my ultimate low as an entrepreneur, as an FYI.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
No, but we won and it all worked out. And I learned the value of figuring out the thing in your company that's most important and thinking of inexpensive and smart ways to protect it.
Excuse me, can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. My name's Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler.
Why are you talking so fast, Guy Smiley?
Because I don't want you thinking that I'm like,
no, I don't.
You're okay with me introducing you first, but you don't want me to downplay you,
So. No. I just think it equal billing, equal time, and I think it's very important. I think it's very important. If a candidate is running for office and you don't give that candidate the equal time on air,
True.
Then it's not good. I don't really.
Yeah, but you do all the interviews.
I know. I was going to say I really don't care. I could say whatever I want.
Yeah.
I could spend. Do you ever listen to all of the episodes as you're actually editing them, or do you only listen to them post editing?
Yeah, I listen to them while I'm editing, but sometimes just bits and pieces of the interview, so I don't listen all the way through. And then usually when it posts, I'll listen on my way to work, but not always, not through all the interviews. Sometimes.
I had a habit for a very long time, probably for well over a year. I used to listen to the episodes before I even got out of bed. And then when we went to 5 days a week, I'm like, I've been spending more time.
I know, it's too many damn episodes, right?
I spend more time in bed listening to the Nice Guys.
Well, that's what I worry about with our listeners, too. And you know what? You can give us our feedback tonight. You can have Dialing for Doug tonight. We would love to get a call from some of our listeners and say, hey, 5 episodes a week is too much, or whatever the case may be. Because I'm
finding that people are providing very positive feedback. Strict, look, the numbers are proving, and again, I do want to hear from people. Tonight is Dialing for Doug Day, 5 to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please call me, 410-340-6861. However, I have found that our ratings, our download count has not only been going up, but our popularity has been going up too, because we have been in this number 2 position. It kind of vacillates. You like that word? Vacillates between 2, 3, and 4, but it has been stuck in the number 2 spot, right behind Tim Ferriss on Overcast for the last month or so.
Yeah, but I want to get up on iTunes too. But we talked about this on yesterday's show, so let's not get into it too much, because this is Danielle Tate. We want to talk about Danielle and Miss Aunt Mrs., which is the company that she put together that basically makes it easy for when you get married to change your name. But it's so much more than that, because she's also got her company called elegantentrepreneur.co, and it's all about female entrepreneurship and how to start and grow your first company if you are a woman. I know we have many female listeners out there.
Yeah, but if you're a guy, tune in here, because I have to tell you that she is a smart woman. She's a smart person. She's just a smart business person. She knows exactly what she's doing. She understands the importance of creating simple systems or simplifying systems. And with this Mrs.com business, very, very cool concept. She's taken an idea. It used to take, or it still does, it takes the average woman to change her name some incredible amount of time. It was like hours and hours and hours, over probably 19, 20, 30, 40 hours in order to change your name legally. I know it doesn't sound like it's
stuff. There's
many hoops that you have to go through. And you have to do it with the federal government. You got to do it with your
driver's
local
license and local and credit cards and everything else.
So she's taken this system and she's boiled it down to, I think it's a 30-minute process.
Yep.
30 minutes, and it's not even very expensive. So you should check out, not only because she has a cool concept and a cool idea, and she explains the idea on the interview, but also just listen to how wise she is and how busy she is. I think was it Laura Cannon that introduced us to her?
Exactly,
originally?
That's correct. Yeah.
Another smart lady introducing us to another smart lady. So she owns a couple of companies. I think you said one of them is called Elegant Entrepreneur.
Yeah. And by the way, her book, which is called Elegant Entrepreneur, The Female Founder's Guide to Starting and Growing Your First Company, it's actually being released tomorrow.
Huh?
Tomorrow. Yes. Available January 5th. Yes. Tomorrow it's being released.
Oh, very good. I think maybe that was part of the whole timing of the show. I think we did that purposely.
I love it when a plan comes together.
All right. So Danielle Tate, let's check out the interview right here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Any final words before we get to the interview, Strick?
Did you get to the promise statement?
Oh, no. Let me do the promise statement. The promise statement is right here: to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. That is our goal. 2016, it was our goal. 2017, we're going to lean into it even more. We want to add value to your life. What is it that we can do differently? What is it that we should do more of? Please let us know. Reach out to me. At DJ Doug is my Twitter handle. Strick, although he'll never read it, at Nice Guy on Biz. Maybe that's part of what we should do. We should spend a little bit more time talking about how we can connect with our Nice Guy community. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter,
yeah, I think we talked about that more yesterday, and maybe we'll talk some more tomorrow about it.
Maybe so. Maybe so. All right, let's get to our interview. Danielle Tate. When I hear the word bootstrapping, I think about hardcore, dyed-in-the-fabric entrepreneurs ready to roll up the sleeves and get shit done. And today's guest, Danielle Tate, is that and so much more. Here to talk about building a business from the ground up, how to be successful with smarts as your capital. Founder of MissNowMisses.com. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Danielle.
Thank you, Doug. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you are here. And did I say it right? MissNowMisses.com?
You got it right.
The heck! In Nice Guy community, you'll know when you go to the show notes that it actually is MissNowMisses.com, and we'll explain what Danielle does. But I want to explain how we even got here. So Danielle, you were introduced to us through a huge Nice Guy supporter and Funkin' fan, Laura Cannon. How did that conversation go? I'm thinking of something like Laura says, Danielle, you've got to meet these guys. They're completely off the rails and totally fucked up in every episode, but they'll make you laugh. What did it sound something like that or nothing like that at all?
It was more complimentary than that. No, we were having lunch and, she's a highly energetic person and I'm a highly energetic person. And so we were just, hyperactive in our booth. And she was like, oh, have you heard of the Nice Guys on Business podcast? I'm like, no, should I? She's like, yes. And she's like, told me all about Doug and all of these different things. She's like, I'll connect you. So on my drive home from lunch, I listened to my first of many of your podcasts, and that's how it happened.
Do you remember? Did anything stand out as like one, like I cannot believe these guys are going in this direction, or do you find that it's more conversational than actually just it's all inappropriate for the most part?
You know what? I think I listen to a lot of podcasts a lot of the time on the way home from the gym at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And you're funny and you're interesting and you never know exactly what you're going to get, instead of like here's the 9 questions. And yes, it's going to be somebody cool, but I'm going to hear that the same or similar answers to the exact same questions. So
it's funny.
I like the spontaneity.
We actually, when we turn on the microphones, we have no idea where we're going to go either. So it's not just our audience that is guessing. We are guessing as we're going through the episodes as well. And hopefully that's what we try to bring every week, 5 times a week to our show and to the community as well. So tell the Nice Guy community a bit about your business, because when I started to do research, I kept thinking, this is pretty cool, but I didn't realize it was actually a business here. So what is MissNowMisses.com?
It is an online name change service for brides. So when a woman gets married and opts to change her name, like 88% of the population does, it takes about 13 hours to file all the paperwork with Social Security and the passport office and driver's license, all the way down to your insurances and notifying your employers. So as I had that trouble, and it took me 3 trips to get my new name on my new driver's license, I thought, why isn't there TurboTax for name change? Mm-hmm. And out of that frustration came the spark, which became Miss Now Misses. So we condensed 13 hours of paperwork into 30 minutes for $30.
Wow, and that's really cool. And I was seeing that as that is the end result. It's 30 minutes, $30, and it's no big deal. So before, and again, I'm going to say this in a non-offensive way, Danielle, and I'm not, believe me, I'm completely, with all due respect to your business, do not tune out, Nice Guy community, if you hear this and you think, well, this is only for women, or what's this MissNowMisses.com? How can that actually help me? Because your story, your backstory is actually kind of compelling. I mean, can you share a little bit how, and now I understand how the business came to be, but just talk about for a second you as a business owner, because you saw a niche, you saw a void in a community that you needed to fill. It was very niche market, very vertical in terms of, okay, well, who are my actual clients? So how did that all evolve? Talk about your entrepreneurial journey for a second.
Sure. I am a completely accidental entrepreneur. I have never taken a business class. I have never, God help me, taken a marketing class. I intended to be a cardiologist for the first 20 odd years of my life.
Wow.
So failing to get into medical school sort of put me in an interesting position in the Choose Your Own Adventure life book. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up selling copiers with a bachelor's degree in biology. And
so you went from somebody that actually needed heart to somebody that needed no heart selling copies.
Exactly.
That's a tough business. That is a tough business.
It is. I've learned, I've been escorted out of buildings by security. I've learned to hide in public restrooms. I definitely grew up and toughened up a great deal in that job, and ended up doing cancer diagnostic sales and was the #1 sales rep for a Fortune 500 company. So kind of cool. And then in the middle of all this success and, life changes, I get married and, have this idea. And I didn't, like the movies, just quit my job and hire 15 people and get funding. The biology side of me kicked in, and I'm like, well, how big is the population? There's 2.3 million marriages a year in the US. Well, how many women actually change their name? And I had to dig through all of these journal articles, and 88% do. I'm like, that's a pretty big renewable market. And then, well, maybe it's just DC. Everything's complicated here. Maybe it's easy to change your name other places. So I called all 50 state DMVs and wrote down their processes and realized that, what? It's a huge pain to change your name no matter where you live. So this is doable. And so over, I think 10 months of evenings, weekends, and very unfun holidays, I did the majority of the research, grunt HTML for the company before I quit my job and did the actual launch.
So what's really interesting about it is, and again, I say this with all due respect, this is not a business just for women. This is a business that she saw an opportunity. Danielle saw an opportunity to fill a void in a marketplace. And how many of us have seen that? Now, Strick and I, my co-host and I, always talk about hey, it's much harder to invent something than it is to, just make a system better. And it sounds like what you've done is you've just capitalized on a really shitty system that was out there. And you said, I got to try to fix this. And we try to work this. Now, how many of us go through that on a daily basis with a million things that are in our life?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It was not the most brilliant idea in the world, but it was a huge pain point, and we're at 350,000 customers and growing. So I think we've been pretty successful in helping.
That's very cool. That's very cool. So I'm looking back to your blog, and it looks like you go back with a lot of the posts that you share back to 2006. So actually, before you even had this idea, what else were you doing something else online? Because there's a small disconnect for me. How long have you had the company?
I've had the company since late 2006 is when we launched.
Oh, I got
So
you.
I went directly from medical sales to wedding tech before wedding tech was cool.
So 2006, you were writing, you share a success story about your blog. I mean, 10 years is a long time. So how have you kept the energy level and the new topics and everything going on your, I even saw a post, I think it was how to pick the perfect bow tie. Again, all related to the world, to the market that you're dealing with, which is the, missnowmisses.com. But people are probably coming to you as an expert in that industry. How do you pick your topics?
So I think about, it was much easier when I was a newlywed, but I think about the things that you're facing as you get married and are merging lives and bank accounts and families and pets and all of that. And so, of course, for SEO purposes, I write a ton about name change in every state and name change law and name change in voting and all that. But then I also write about, how to have an open conversation with your mother-in-law. And I like to do spotlights on wedding entrepreneurs. So the bow tie, for example, was a gentleman who couldn't find a good groomsman's gift. And so he hand-tied bow ties out of turkey feathers.
I saw that. I'm like, that's a really cool-looking tie.
It was ridiculously cool. So I was able to, it's something new and interesting for nearly weds and newlyweds, whether you need it for your wedding or for, a holiday gift or a holiday party. And I also get to help out another wedding entrepreneur. So it's mostly newlywed, lots of name change, and then the occasional interesting product or service you just need to know about for that demographic.
So help me for a second, because as somebody that is that's an entrepreneur, and especially somebody that is bootstrapped their way, I'm assuming you have not hit the big venture capital market, or maybe you have. Has anybody injected a lot of capital into your business other than you?
We have never taken outside funding.
That's good. And you say that proudly, it sounds like.
I do. I feel like I sit on all of these different panels about funding, especially funding as a woman. And I feel like I need like the pageant ribbon that's like Miss Bootstrapping. Like I speak like for the Lorax, I speak for the bootstrappers. Like it's not glamorous, but it is a great way to run a business and create a lifestyle that makes you happy.
I totally agree. Not only do you not have now again, we're both on the same side of this, so I'm sure somebody could come and argue why venture capital is the way to go because it's scale. You know, you can get your business booming in just literally with one big infusion of cash. But I just look at it and say it's so much more badass to grow this thing from the ground up and to, okay, so last month I had $0 in the bank. This month I have $50,000 in the bank. So now I'm going to figure out the best ways to invest that 50 grand in the bank because I've actually got clients and I don't owe anybody any of that money. So that's pretty cool, isn't it?
It is. I like customer funding growth. We were profitable, not very much, but profitable from month one. Mm-hmm. And as we amassed a little bit of cash, we would ask our customers not what they wanted next, what they would pay for next. And so we were able to really understand our customers and what they wanted and then give it to them incrementally.
Can you share, and again, great lead into this. Can you share some of the things that you've done outside of the just helping them change their name from from Smith to Jones? What other services are there in the line of products that you may be able to offer your clients now?
So something that came out of a business problem and a bride problem was education. So name change is not a very hot topic as you're getting married. There's cakes and dresses and flowers and all the pretty stuff, and name change is this problem that falls off the end of wedding planning.
Right.
And then as a woman, you may not know, unless you've talked to some girlfriends, that there are 8 different options to change your name. And so as an entrepreneur, I can't afford to advertise and win ad-wise against the big companies that are talking about dresses and flowers and beautiful things.
Right.
And so I thought to myself, I'm like, how do I get to these women? Like, what is an interesting way to engage brides earlier in the process so they at least know, A, name change is a problem, and B, Miss Now Mrs. exists. And it turned out to be an online quiz. Like, all the dumb quizzes you take on Facebook that you may not post, but you at least take them.
Yeah.
We made the married name game.
All right.
And it gets thousands of plays every month. And basically, we ask 8 questions. We have a patent pending on the algorithm, and we use key life points and personal style to determine a woman's ultimate married name. And sometimes it's don't change your name.
Oh, that's really
interesting. And it's a very elegant funnel into Miss Now Mrs.
Oh, okay. So that's your funnel. So the funnel gets their name, and now they're on your email list.
And they're not going to lie because it's an algorithm giving them their ideal name. Yes.
Right. I got it. And also, I'm thinking another connection for you, although it's not quite as funnelized or automated as that, is just making connections with all the event planners that are out there, because I know it's got to be at least, or it should be, a question that the event planners are asking their brides, even though it's not directly attached to the service and to the celebration itself. A lot of them have got to be thinking, let me offer, what can I offer that could add value to my package? And for $30,
right,
for $30, they're helping their customer that much more.
And it saves them at least 3 phone calls from that bride that they helped trying to figure out what she's supposed to do.
Right. No, I got it for sure. What have been some of your biggest contributors to your success? If you just take off your MissNowMrs.com hat for a second and just talk to me as a business owner, do you have systems that you have in place that have been successful? Do you just have a knack for figuring out the best directions to go? Or what would you say would have been some bigger contributors to your success?
I think one of the biggest contributors has been strategic partnerships. So early on, I was scared to death that everyone was going to steal my idea. Mm-hmm. So I hid from the big companies like The Knot and Wedding Wire. And it took a copycat stealing intellectual property and putting up a copycat site of my business to scare me into growing up and realizing, oh my gosh, I have to lock up these partnerships before other people do.
Right.
So creating those strategic partnerships with very large platforms that are in the wedding space and also outside of the wedding space, like LegalZoom, for example, gave us instant credibility as a very small company and just brought in huge amounts of customers early on.
Yeah, it's amazing the whole relationship with outside companies. I know, again, my wife is an event planner. She goes to some of the high end, I guess, industry trade shows like Engage, and I know that she does a couple of programs up in New York as well. And there are so many. You would be a great speaker just as an expert in the wedding market, because you are really an expert. You're an expert at one specific thing, and or I'm sure at many things, but that specifically, you're an expert in, and I'm sure that they would love to hear from a business person standpoint how to be successful at what you do. So that's very cool. Talk about for a second. You wrote a book.
I did. I wrote a book.
All right. Share a little bit about the book and talk about Elegant Entrepreneur. I love it because Laura actually wrote a book called The Conscious Entrepreneur, didn't she? I forget the name of her book exactly. But
yes,
anyway, Elegant Entrepreneur. So, and it became a really, really hot book on Amazon as well. What do you attribute that towards?
They always tell you to write the book you looked for, and sincerely, that was the basis for Elegant Entrepreneur. It was, why can't I find a business book written for me, a smart woman without an MBA,
right.
Something that uses really clear language, simple words. Here's how you do it, 12 steps from ideas to exit. Here's how to know whether you have a good idea that's business worthy or not on page 6, not page 60. Mm-hmm. Here's how it feels as you're going through these different stages of entrepreneurship. And then here's not a trite business tip, but here's real life examples and advice from 28 other amazing women entrepreneurs like Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff is the stuff that success is made out of. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I want to stress this now also because I'm looking at some of the notes that I wrote to myself, and I really put like big exclamation points next to it. MissNowMrs.com, you crossed over 350,000 customers. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's like ridiculous. I mean, how great does that feel to be able to know that, this, maybe you can find 100, maybe even 1,000 customers by mistake, but 350,000 customers, you have to do that on purpose.
Yeah, it was a very good, 100,000 was amazing in that it just keeps going. And also just the lifestyle to be like, you know what? I took the gamble. I took the leap into entrepreneurship, and yes, sometimes I have the worst of both worlds, but most of the time, I get to be a CEO, an entrepreneur, and a really good mom. And because I am the CEO, I can backfill positions if I need more time to pay attention to other parts of my life or start other companies or write books.
Yeah, isn't that so great? When you start it all, and especially when you bootstrap it all, every freaking corner of your business. And when you put somebody in a position to take over that spot, or you empower somebody to make decisions and they fuck up, because ultimately sometimes that happens as a part of running a business, you can fill that position quite easily. And you're people that do it themselves, they don't look at it as, well, I'm being humble, I'm doing the job that I could, it's because I got to get shit done. Of course I'm going to do this. My business, I'm not going to let my business suffer because I have too much of an ego to go back to being, my social marketing guru.
Exactly.
So talk about that for a second, because technology really has made the market so much more accessible to us. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm sure Pinterest and Instagram in your particular case might also. I think a lot of are brides more on Pinterest or Instagram right now? Any idea?
I think I know my window better than I think bridal is a segment of the industry, but everyone's bridal and everyone's brides are different. Mine are late stage, nearlyweds is what we like to call them.
Oh, nice.
Or newlyweds. So our sweet spot's 30 days pre-wedding, 30 days post. So
where do you find them?
They find us, which is wonderful. Partners send them our way. Early on, it was Google ads before they changed the algorithm 9,000 times. That was huge for us. Well, I'm gonna give Pinterest the edge over Instagram for us, because name change isn't overly pretty. Like, we have beautiful gift cards, and we do have different magazine spreads and stuff, and lots of newlywed love quotes, etc. But I think Pinterest is better because we have boards that are by every state, how to get your marriage license, how to change your name, and that brings in a lot of traffic.
No, for sure, absolutely, and we'll put links to Danielle's website directly in the show notes so that you guys have it. But the book is called Elegant Entrepreneur: The Female Founder's Guide to Starting and Growing Your First Business. Is that right?
Yep, first company, but same difference.
Okay. Well, I didn't mess it up. Whoever wrote the show notes wrote it, messed it up. So I can blame it. You can blame it on me. I'm happy to do that. And you also have a free webinar. Is that you have that too?
Yes. So I have recently done 2 webinars for SCORE, which is the Society of Retired Executives. And so they do a lot of mentoring, it's just retired people from amazing companies that still want to help and be involved, but don't want to be employed any longer. So if you're looking for a mentor, it's a great source. And they also do lots and lots of webinars on every business topic imaginable. So I just did one on creating your sales funnel and sourcing customers. I think we had like 1,800 people for that webinar, and it's for free. I can send you a link to it. You can listen to it after the fact.
For sure. That would be great. And just so Nice Guy Community, so you know, I think on my last webinar, I think I had 12 people. So 1,800 is actually a really good number. Sorry, there's certain things I do really well, Danielle. Webinars and sales funnels are not 2 of them. So sorry, maybe I should read your book to get a little bit of help and listen to your webinar as well. I want to spend just the next couple of moments going through. If you'll take your website and your business owner hat off and just put on your person hat for a second. I try to ask these questions just because I think it's important that the Nice Guy community, as I would want to know, who exactly am I listening to and why should I be listening to the advice? Some people get this rich payday after selling a business, and everything that they say and do beyond that becomes completely unrelatable to their audience. Maybe you can imagine that. So I'm going to ask, this is the rapid fire questions segment. There's 5 questions. I'm going to ask the questions, spend about 20 seconds answering. I'm going to do the best I can not to interrupt as you give me the answer, but I never follow my own directions. So here we go. You ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay, great. So be relatable. What do you suck at?
Oh, goodness. I suck at actually doing the dishes or getting the clothes out of the dryer. I can wash them, and put them in the basket, but they never make it up the stairs into drawers.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so we're definitely hitting the personal side of things. This is interesting. Okay, be transparent. How did you pay your bills when you first got going?
All of our friends moved into huge homes, and we stayed in our 900 square foot condo for another year. And I had bankrolled a great deal of my sales money and all of my perks and benefits because I knew I was going to need to draw off that account while I started a startup.
Just curious, outside the Q&A here, I told you I'm going to interrupt here. How did you know that something was coming down the road? Did you feel like, okay, I know that I'm going to own my own business eventually? No, I had the young and dumb factor. I'm like, I have this great idea and I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work, I'm really good at selling things and I can easily get a job at another company selling things and be none the worse for wear. Yeah. Isn't that great when you know that the plan B is I can just go back to doing what I do. I don't love it, or maybe I do love it, but I certainly can do it and I'll be successful at that again. So it's almost like failure is not an option.
Exactly. And I didn't want to do the what if, like the looking back, like, well, I wonder what would have happened if I had done that. So I just did it.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3, be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets?
I am a content generating machine. So I can drum out content like 24/7 on almost any topic. You just say go.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, I know that there's a lot of blog posts or posting companies that pay $35 for everything. I get all the. Do you get emails or call? I even get phone calls from people. We have $35. Would you be interested in writing a piece for it? I'm like, $35? Who does shit for $35 anymore?
I don't get those calls, but I don't answer my phone either.
Oh, you don't answer the phone. No. I think I tip the guy that takes my bags out to my car $35. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I could just go to work at the grocery store and make $35, and I don't have to come up with anything, original. Question 4 here: be humble. What experts do you need to call upon, or what experts did you need to call upon to make shit happen when shit wasn't happening in the beginning?
I definitely needed the business lawyer. I had no idea what I was doing. And without him putting in really good terms of use, I would have, not won some intellectual property lawsuits and would probably not have the company I have today.
Yeah, you probably have to ward off a lot of copycat people that want to take what you did and just steal your power.
I testified at I testified 8 months pregnant in federal court in one case. So that was my ultimate low as an entrepreneur, as an FYI.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I'm sure you weren't feeling good at the time either.
No, but we won and it all worked out. And I learned the value of figuring out the thing in your company that's most important and thinking of inexpensive and smart ways to protect it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Last one here. Be realistic. Where are you going to be in 90 days? And how far into the future do you think that you actually can see?
90 days? Let's see. What month is this?
So that'll put us in, well, let's say the first quarter, since I'm not sure exactly the air date of this show. Let's just put it first quarter 2017. Can you see that far?
Yep, I can see that far. We should have another kind of fun product release coming out, and I will be starting on my second book.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. Do you have a name for your book yet?
Yes, but I'm not quite ready to share it yet.
That's all right.
It's so new that I'm just still,
Did you... Now, maybe you're aware of this. I certainly wasn't. I wrote a book called Nice Guys Finish First, and I did not realize at the time that there was another book called Nice Guys Finish First. So when I went to register the title with my publisher or whatever, he just said, "Hey, just want to let you know there's another book called that." And I said, "Is that a problem?" He said, "No, you can't copyright the title of a book. You can copyright a system, but the title of a book, you could have 20 books named, The Magic of Thinking Big or Think and Grow Rich, but there's only one Napoleon Hill."
Right. Okay. Well, then Falling in Heels.
Oh, you actually said it. Oh, no, I could have just been bullshitting you there. And
I believed you.
Yeah. Funny story about Falling in Heels. We were, my wife and I actually yesterday went out to get brunch, and there was a whole group of women that were having drinks and enjoying themselves as they were watching the football game. And the last one in the entire group, as she was walking out, she was wearing heels. I thought they were a little bit big for a Sunday to be wearing heels like that. And she was wearing her jeans and heels, and she did a face plant. And I'm like, that could be a problem, falling in heels. Interesting title to your book. Do you have your cell phone anywhere near you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
iPhone. What's up?
Okay, good. Look at your picture app. Tell me what the last thing that you took a photo of.
Hang on. Oh my gosh, the 180 caramel dipped pears that I took to school for teacher appreciation.
Oh, that's very good. Was that recently?
That was this morning.
Nice, excellent. And go to your texting app. What is the last text you sent and received?
This is hilarious. Hang on. The last text that I got was somebody asking if they could come into work late this morning, and I didn't even see it. So.
You just see that? It's a good thing you're on the show. Now you know.
Great.
Did they actually show up, or they didn't show up?
Yes, she's here.
Excellent. Well, we will make sure that we put all of your information about your website, missnowmisses.com, directly on our show notes. And Danielle, thank you for being a part of the Nice Guy community. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you, Doug. It was awesome.
Oh, our pleasure. Nice Guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice or the power of missnowmisses.com. Special thanks to Danielle Tate for being on the show. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. I would have gotten away with the 2 if it weren't for you meddling kids.